Ah, look at all these game dev videos lately. Making a game in a few days, even a second. We all know it's just an excuse to make a video. And I'm all for it. So I challenged myself to learn how to make an Android game in 2 days. The most obvious difference between mobile games and desktop games, besides optimization of course, is the controls. We're talking about reducing the input capability from 104 keys on a full keyboard down to just your 10 fingers. That's about a 90% decrease in input options. But thankfully, we didn't have to reverse engineer gaming from big devices to smaller ones. It's all thanks to Gunpei Yokoi, the engineer of the Nintendo Directional Pad, better known as the D-pad. From then on, these thumb-oriented controllers would be the more popular way of playing video games, with small devices as the input.
Now in the modern days, we use similar techniques thanks to Apple introducing the multi-touch back in 2007.
Technology called multi-touch, which is phenomenal. You can do multi-finger gestures on it, and boy have we patented it.
I think we've all seen this video at this point, but I digress. I created a simple conveyor belt model in Blender to better give a visual cue of how the camera was moving when I am programming the controls for the camera. So I started out learning how to handle input with Unity's new input system. It was a bit confusing at first, but a YouTuber by the name of Sam Yem had some great and simple tutorials for me to follow along. And after realizing that Unity Remote doesn't actually detect input from the new system, I had to build it every time. So I plugged my phone in, built the app, and managed to get the simple camera controls working. That alone took up most of day one, unfortunately. After a quick lunch break, I popped back into my seat and began making the building system.
Now I have dealt with building systems before by making my own grid system with nodes, but I was very limited on time. 2 days is not a lot of time, so how was I going to make a simple building system in a few hours that doesn't make a mess in my code? The answer? 2D tilemaps.
Yeah, I'm making a 3D game, but I'm using 2D tile maps. I found this video on YouTube called Tamara Makes Games that demonstrated a unique way of using the 2D tile maps for 3D games by exploiting the functions given by the grid class to convert world points to, well, grid points. This was exactly the thing I needed to speedrun the building system with just a few lines of code. But like most tutorials, I had to deviate away to better suit the needs of my game, and by the end of day 1, I was able to get a simple building system up and running. No rotating and deleting of existing buildings yet, but hey, it is good progress for a single day. Day 2 ended up being Polish Day, where I added more stuff to the game, as well as some UI and finished up the currency of the game. I did, however, experience another bug that I had difficulty fixing. And I had experienced this quite a while back, where input would go through the user interface and into the world. This, well, caused some buildings to be placed when you are tapping a button, and I didn't have the energy or time to sift out the pointer events in the documentation, so I just, well, placed some invisible barriers to block the raycast, which obviously prompted another bug where the barriers wouldn't follow when zooming in and out. So I just left it as it is and carried on. I added rotating on existing buildings just by tapping on them, and remembering that rotation to make placing subsequent buildings less of a hassle. I added deleting buildings and some simple gameplay elements. After fixing some bugs, this is the game I've made while learning how to make a mobile game in 2 days.
What the hell is this? That's it? This piece of
Well, it is 2 days, and I did just say that I was learning how to make an Android game. So that's it. Learning how to make a mobile game in 2 days. Was it easy? No, not really. It definitely helped that I already had experience making games on the desktop before, and I cannot imagine how even more difficult it would be for new beginners. So whenever you see those making something in short duration, don't be fooled, thinking that it is that easy. And don't be too disheartened about your skills that you cannot make something debatably good in a short period of time. Because good work takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day, and so was the Eiffel Tower. But they are the more memorable places on this space rock moving around the sun at terrifying speeds. Make your games good at a level that you can appreciate. Improve your skills and juggle between moving at a comfortable pace, like a commercial viable game, with proper code and good maintainability, and at a faster pace that you aren't used to, like game jam durations, which are more for prototyping and getting you used to the crunch hours of being under time pressure. With all that said, I will definitely be exploring more of the mobile side of game development. It is a rather competitive market, there's a lot of great games already out there. As a game developer, we need to constantly improve our skills as the demand for better games goes up with every new release.
That's it from me. Have a great day, and if you are wondering about the development of Desolate Tanks, it's still underway. It'll be slowed down now that school has kicked off again, and they'll continue to flood me with projects. But I will continue to do a video every week, so stay tuned for that. Alright, that's really it from me. Goodbye.